Hello and welcome to the Inbetween podcast. I'm user host Joe Scorn. I'm joined here by Tony Tones and RT. How's it going, Tony?
Just call me Lego Man and I'll
Call
be
you Lego
happy.
Man. Right, what's going on?
Well, I keep buying Legos, so.
Well, currently we're in a Lego
Well,
pandemic. Everyone's
I
buying
should,
Lego.
yeah, I should point out, like, okay, so I've been saving up for a PC all of last year, right? And I was
Yeah,
like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna now, like, this is this year
I'm
now.
telling you.
I'm like, I'm just gonna spend some of that money on Lego because I can recoup it, like, from, like, my earnings, like, every month
hmm
sort of thing. So it's, like, not really, like, dipping into it when the market finally stabilizes, which is gonna be like a year's time at this rate. So
I've just been like getting all of the stuff that are like the parts around the parts because I've already got
yeah,
the graphics card and the CPU. So I'm like, oh, I'll pick up an NVMe drive. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
you're pretty loaded, but I'm still on DDR3
Okay.
PC. So um
Trying to think, what did I get that I had to open my computer? Oh, I got a Ryzen 5600 before it was scalped off the face of the earth.
yeah, yeah. So
I
you
was,
got wait, did we talk about this? Your is it Sabrent Rocket NVMe SSD last
yeah,
time, or was
Sabrent.
I can't
No, I
remember
don't think
now.
we did. I got a Sabrent Rocket, 4 terabyte, Gen 3, NVMe
Yeah,
SSD,
yeah,
um,
pretty quick.
TLC. So pretty
Yep.
lots of IPOs, I believe they're called. There's lots of
Yeah,
like stats you can go into if you look like really deep
they they are
into
they
like
are useful
NAND
stats. They are very
NAND
obscure
flash and
naming.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
I think my net. I've just been buying Steam games. I'm chilling. Everything's going on sale, and I'm just like I'm playing Sea of Thieves again. Let's talk about that for 20 minutes. Uh,
let's go. Let's talk about Sea of Thieves.
there's no tangerines anymore because
No,
I'm
no tangerine.
too busy playing games. So there's no tangerines.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sea of
That's
Thieves.
fair.
Sea of Thieves is on Steam and it's fucking sick. I love Sea of Thieves. So yeah, I'll just say that.
Yeah, so it's properly on Steam, like you don't have to go through any sort of Microsoft account sign up or anything. It's
Um,
just like
I linked my Xbox account because I already had progress
okay.
on Xbox, but I don't know if you have to. You might have to make an Xbox account, but or
Okay,
you do
okay.
it. But it's just your Microsoft account which you log into your PC with,
Yeah, yeah,
unless
yeah.
you're one of the 10 people who use Linux. In which case you probably. Well, I think if you're using Linux, you can't play Sea of Thieves. So I'm sorry about that.
RIP. But about me though, has not upgraded the PC to 10. And 10 doesn't have a Microsoft account. I do have one, I just don't have it on this PC.
How do you log in? You just like
Lately.
a. Oh, are you gonna upgrade to Windows 10, Tony?
Not on this PC, no. I will obviously
Never.
when I build a new one. Not on this one, no. I want to keep this as
Okay.
like an older
You're saying in 2020, late 2022,
in
when you.
2077, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I'll upgrade to Windows 10.
Are you done talking
Point.
about Lego? Shall we go into trailers, or do you want to talk more about Lego?
No, I'm okay. We can carry on. I just
Okay.
want to say I've been buying Lego. That's what I really wanted to say.
All right, Tony. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about Hot Wheels Unleashed, and we saw a CGI trailer, and I said we got to see some gameplay. And guess what? They
Yeah,
heard the
we do.
podcast. They said we're releasing the gameplay for Hot Wheels for Joe, and it looks fucking sick. I really like the look of the gameplay so far. There is
I
even
have not
like
seen this yet, so
okay, it's because people even like they even like game out some they allow I think it was like game what's that game I keep wanting to say GameStop, but it's the yellow sign that's called Game. What's it called? That YouTube channel. I'll find
a
it for
game
you.
out.
No, no, no.
Um,
I'm gonna look up the name and I'm gonna be like kicking myself because I'm like, oh for fuck's sake, it's so obvious once you say it. GameSpot. That's who I'm talking. They
okay,
go GameSpot.
spot.
I keep trying. I keep
Not
every time I saw that name, I was like GameStop. No, that's the meme rocket one. GameSpot, the actual like journalist website.
Yeah, I feel like it's slowly been dying over the last like ten
I see it
years,
on
but
like,
yeah,
isn't it like? I think it's similar to like an IGN tier sort of.
yeah.
I don't
It's
know if
because
it's
the
I don't know if it's that bad as like IGN,
no,
but
I think it's a bit more genuine than something like IGN, but it's like that sort of level, yeah.
I've watched some actual like non-developer like put out gameplay and it just looked genuinely good. Some cool things. It looks like there is Trackmania level skips where you can just dive
Oh,
off a ramp
nice.
and go wherever you want. Like we're seeing
That's really
here
cool.
in the gameplay, like you can go where the fuck you want, sort of thing. So that does look really cool. That there's like big shortcuts. I love
Yeah,
the
that's really
I
good.
love the look of like the arcade racing. I love arcade races. You know, I love stuff like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sonic All
It's
Star
more
Racing
fun than
Transformed.
racing
There was
sims.
a Ubisoft sale actually, and I actually purchased The Crew 2 actually because
Oh,
I heard
right.
that's
Okay.
like got some really fun, just like arcade racing around in a big city sort of thing. You can like fly planes and just drive cars
Yeah.
around sort of thing. So I'm interested to try that. Some people are saying like it's just Trackmania with a Hot Wheels skin, but I'm like, what more would you want? That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I don't see the problem with that, but yeah, yeah. I was gonna say I like the verticality though. Like I
And
like how it's
it even
being
has a level
combined.
editor, and I'm hoping so much you just build the levels with like those orange Hot Wheel tracks.
Oh, yeah, I hope so.
I'm
I
hoping
hope
it's gonna
so.
get like workshop support, so you can just like download
How do
other
you
people's
think?
maps. They said they're gonna have like
How
60 maps to play from at launch. So
I assume you have to place down like blank sections because like, there's like big sections like big jumps between the orange tracks. I'm wondering how that's gonna work.
mm,
Yeah, I am interested to see this though. Like, it does actually look
it looks really cool.
pretty good.
I can't wait to play it. It looks really cool. So if you want to
Yeah,
watch
yeah,
more Hot Wheels gameplay, check out the GameSpot gameplay. It does look genuinely like a really fun game.
yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
excited to play that. Next up, we have No Man's Sky Expeditions. We got a brand new No Man's Sky update. From what I saw of this, from Expeditions, it seems like they're adding kind of like a Diablo 3 seasons. Like, if you don't know how Diablo 3 works, basically they have a series called Seasons where everyone starts again at like level 1, and then you progress through the season, you earn season rewards, and then the next season rolls around, and then you start again. And then there's like different affixes and stuff that change how you play, different sets that you play with in that
Right,
season.
right.
And I assume that's how Expeditions is working from what I see. I mean, obviously, I haven't played No Man's Sky in a long time, so I'm just trying to figure it out based on the patch notes sort of thing. Like I
Yeah, I don't
was,
really understand what would change. Like I don't like. I feel like they've never really changed like the base game like objective system. Like you seem to always be doing like a couple of things. I'm not really sure what that could be tying into.
so it says here on the patch notes, including a whole new game at Expedition. So each of these events starts with a fixed point in the universe, and the
Right, so
entire
there'll be
community,
events.
embarks on a shared journey. So everyone's playing on the same universe, sort of thing,
Yeah,
for like a
yeah.
whole season, and then they'll move on to another expedition, and then that'll reset, and then everyone will start again on the same universe, sort of thing, trying to bring the sense of community together, I guess.
Yeah,
So
but I'm saying if it is actually its own like events for this, that makes a lot more sense. Because otherwise, I don't think there's much you could do really. Like
mm.
something like Diablo, like has like dungeons and things to do, right?
one
Like
one
you
thing
don't
that
need to add anything
one
extra.
thing I don't know how the multiplayer works in No Man's Sky, but it says you can meet up with fellow travelers during to earn milestones during this game mode. If you put stuff on a planet and edit it, will it edit it in everybody else's planet on this expedition?
I
I assume
assume
not.
so. Do you not? I
I
thought bases would if it's on the same server that you could see it.
really
So I
because
thought you could
everyone,
play, you
but
have to place on a base,
but
a building base.
everyone starts at a fixed point in the universe though.
Yeah.
So how would that work if like the first planet you come across, 1,000 people are all trying to build their base there?
Guess you can't build your base there. You don't need to build your base on the same planet though, right?
I need someone who knows No Man's Sky to explain how this works when
Yeah,
this
I don't know.
update comes
From
out.
what I've seen of base building is that you need to place down like a center point, which then like marks it out for like as your
Right, you
base.
play No
I
Man's
don't know
Sky,
how
don't you,
the
Tony? You own No Man's Sky.
I own No Man's Sky,
I was
yeah,
thinking about
but I
getting it.
can't get past the first hour, so
No Man's Sky is technically a VR game with
It is.
multi.
I've played a little bit of it in VR on a PlayStation 4.
It's technically a multiplayer VR game as well. Because I've been playing quite a few multiplayer VR games recently. But, I don't think we're gonna do. I don't think we can do a Tangerine or Electronauts. So I might talk about Electronauts now because
Okay, okay.
it would be hard to do Electronauts without music, and I can't
Oh, we
show
need
you the music
music.
without
Oh,
getting
okay.
DMCA'd to hell.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but the way Electronauts is, I've played both Beat Saber and Electronauts, and I really prefer the gameplay of Electronauts because for my Beat Saber is like a straight up rhythm game where you hit the beats on time, and it's
Yeah.
like, but Electronauts is more like you're a DJ in VR. You like set up loops.
Okay.
You hit like you use your paddles to hit like drums, and then you create like loops, and then you mix the loops, and then you like hit drops, and you add ambient sounds and stuff like that. It's really fun, and it's also multiplayer. I streamed it on
Yeah.
Discord for my friend Andy, who before I started streaming, he was like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna sell my VR setup." And I streamed it for like an hour, and he immediately bought it, and we were like playing tunes together in the multiplayer mode.
Yeah, was he gonna sell it off really cheap to someone he knew at one point?
I think he was thinking about it, like he wasn't
Yeah.
sure.
I guess he's not anymore.
I said his fiance should try it out before he sold it just to see if she'd like playing
Yeah.
it. Because there is some, I fucking love VR. I've been playing so much VR ever since I got the Vive and I played Half Life Alyx. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna play loads of VR games. Like, I don't think I have this written down, but it's a fantastic time to bring it up. There's a brand new Humble Bundle VR. The last Humble Bundle VR was really good, and there's a new spring one.
All
That's
right.
really good
Okay.
as well. Mm. There's a virtual reality sale on Humble right now, apparently, up to 95% off. Okay, interesting. I'll have a look at that later, see if it's worth looking into. I played Super Hot VR recently as well. Didn't record anything of
Yeah,
that.
that looks like that's like not completely different, but like it's like a completely different experience than the actual normal game, right? Because like it's just it seems even more weird than like the actual normal game to me.
Mm. The annoying thing is I found that I couldn't move, and that's another like play test. That's another like play space tester. Whereas like I want to move forward and punch this guy, but I'm gonna run out of like actual VR space to
Oh, I see.
yeah. But here's the so Electronauts is fucking awesome, and it's on sale right now, and it's £3, and I've already got my money's worth. I've already like, there's so many songs as well. Like there's an instrument that you can play in the game that I haven't even used yet. So it's like there's lots of replayability on it as well. It's pretty sick. So the first VR bundle was really cool. That's how I got games like The Walking Dead and Creed, which is really fun multiplayer VR game. This one has um, they've moved the bundle around. That's interesting. Okay. The extra games used to be on the bottom, and the middle games used to be in the middle. So that's interesting.
Oh, okay.
But there's some really cool games. So the games I got it for was I of course I got it for Star Trek Bridge Crew, which famously never goes on sale. It's always like £20. I now have
Yeah.
I now have UPlay installed in my computer, or it's like called UPlay Connect or UPlay Games or something like that now. So I could play Star Trek Bridge Crew with some friends. You get like Surgeon Simulator VR. You get Borderlands 2 VR, which is like it's kind of okay. It's kind of I heard Siren VR is pretty good. You get Job Simulator VR. A lot of people have already played Job Simulator because famously it was if you bought a Vive, it was one of the titles you got for free. But some people have Quest 2s and they have never played Job Simulator. And someone who's played Job Simulator, I can tell you, it's still a very fun game. It's a very good way to get people into VR. The only thing about this bundle that didn't make sense to me was there was one game on the first tier that was like 70p, and then
Yeah.
the price between the middle tier and the bonus tier was like 10 pence difference. It didn't make sense just to not buy the whole bundle.
Yeah, that's
So
still the case, right? It's like it's even worse. It's like it's 4p difference. Why would you not go all the way
It
to
was it
the?
was like 20p when I bought it, and the games were flipped. I don't know if like some games
Okay.
are more popular, they start flipping them. I'm not sure how like the
Yeah,
dynamic
I
scaling
don't.
on the average works.
So it goes 71p, £10.77, then £10.81. I don't really
Mm.
understand. Then it's so is that £10.81 like you get everything?
Yeah.
Like, am I reading that right?
So um, they take the average price of what people are paying, and then if you pay the average or more than the average, you get all of the games. If you pay the
Yeah,
middle tier, you
okay.
get the middle tier, and then if you pay the minimum, you get the minimum.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
But the last VR bundle they did was really good. I think this one's solid as well. So um, if you're someone who is lucky enough to have a gaming PC and VR right now, um,
I will.
now is a
Wasn't
good time to get a bundle like this.
I feel like we're going to be doing a Tangerine on Bridge Crew?
Yeah,
Is that planned? Okay.
we're gonna be doing so the VR games that will have tangerines, Electronauts. I just don't think there's a way
Yep.
to do one, so probably not. But it's an amazing game. I would highly recommend Electronauts,
I
especially because
might.
it's on
Yeah.
sale.
I mean, we
Um,
could try and do research and see if actually who owns the stuff. But yeah, I feel like it's gonna be very difficult, if not impossible.
yeah, I feel like you could show Beat Saber muted maybe, but I don't know if
Yeah. Well, it depends.
I've played Beat Saber and we've never done a Tangerine or Beat Saber either, so that would be another like
Where
challenge. Like a rhythm game is always going to be a challenge to do a spot like a Tangerine spotlight
where
on.
does the where do the sounds and like the music come from in Electronauts? Is that like from other people's
They have like a
catalogs, or
big
is
deal
it?
with like lots of like EDM artists,
Yeah.
house music artists, stuff like that. They have
Okay.
there's Childish Gambino on there, for example.
Yeah.
Um,
I just wonder what they use for their own trailers. Like, I wonder if they just made or they got like a special license to be able to make trailers with
Well, I
it.
think
I don't.
there's a Survivos sale right now because they also make Creed. They also
Hmm.
I think they also make The Walking Dead. Maybe even let me check. They make a Walking Dead game. I think. Oh no! It's playing music on the Steam trailer. No, stop! I just want to look at the store page so I can look at the developer.
So what you say? Okay, I can't miss. Okay,
Oh,
I don't worry, don't
they
worry.
make The Walking Dead Onslaught. Sorry, that's not a VR one. No, that is a VR one. Okay, it's a different. It's not the good Walking Dead VR game. And this also came out in 2020 as a Walking Dead VR game. Okay, I
Is
thought
that the one that came out early 2020, right?
no. This is a different one.
Oh,
This is a mostly
different one.
negative one.
What?
This is not
Okay.
Saints and Sinners. This is
Oh,
Onslaught.
is that what I'm thinking of? Is it? Oh, okay.
Interesting. I didn't know about this. They made Raw Data, which was in the previous bundle.
Right. Okay.
But no, look out for if you're interested in VR. We're gonna have Tangerines on Bridge Crew, Gorn, Creed. Got some great games coming in. I have footage of more Half-Life Alyx mods. I'm always playing. I was literally like a couple of days ago playing Half-Life Alyx with a. Someone made a mod where you can play the campaign with a bow and arrow. I was playing that
Okay.
a couple of days ago. So yeah,
Interesting.
I love VR, guys. I won't stop talking about VR. I'm the VR guy. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I don't have VR. That's my excuse. So.
we got some Path of Exile 2 gameplay. It looks pretty sick. One thing I think that's really improved from the first Path of Exile is a lot of people said they didn't like the animations in the first Path of Exile game. They thought they were a bit clunky. The animations
It's
in
an
this
old game
game,
though, right?
yeah, the animations in Path of Exile 2 are looking crisp, guys. I'm really excited to want to play this, play it for 10 minutes, get really confused, and then go play like Torchlight or something instead that's more simple.
No, no, we want more complexity.
Get confused, go, fuck this. It's one of those games that looks really good and I really want to play it, but it's so complicated that I just struggle to get into Path of Exile. Like,
Yeah.
I love
This is
ARPGs, like I love Torchlight, I love Diablo.
yeah.
Um,
I'd really like to play this. This is like very. Is this like a co-op heavy game, or like you meant to be playing it by yourself?
I think it's both. I think it's.
Okay, you can do either.
I think people mostly play this game solo, but I think it's a bit of both.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
like leaderboard players will definitely be like solo.
Yeah, yeah.
At least that's what it's like in Diablo 3. It's like if you're playing leaderboards, you play solo. Like co-op's kind of a joke. Um,
It's fair.
I always played hardcore Diablo as well with my friends. Like every new season, we would play um, hardcore, which was really funny because then when you're leveling up through the new season and your friend dies, you're like, ah, unlucky. You have to make a brand new character now because no one has any saved characters because it's a brand new, fresh season.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's
I'm
really cool.
not lucky.
Tony, you're Nintendo,
Okay.
and wait. Imagine you're Nintendo right now, right?
Yeah, okay, I'm imagining it, yeah. Have I
You
got a Mario mustache?
yes, you've got Mario
Okay.
mustache.
Yeah,
You're
okay, I'm
thinking,
there.
man, Mario Brothers Battle Royale did really well. Tetris Battle Royale did really well. We need another really old franchise to turn into a Battle Royale game. And now we have
Okay.
Pac-Man 99. The 99 Pac-Man game Battle Royale game coming to Nintendo
How
Switch Online subscribers. You'll love to
how
see it.
who subscribes to Nintendo Switch Online?
It's basically like you have to subscribe to it to play online. It's like
Yeah, but
Xbox
so
Live,
if you play even what games do you have to play online? Like I feel like most Nintendo games you play
Smash
by
Bros,
yourself,
Smash Bros,
right?
Splatoon.
Yeah.
Is there any other ones that are quite big? I can think of off the top of my head. Those are the main ones. Smash and Splatoon are like the big ones.
Yeah, I
Mario
can't
Kart,
think of any other reason we need it.
Mario Kart is definitely
Ah,
big
I
one.
consider that a party game with local.
Let's have a look. Multiplayer Nintendo
I don't know. I feel like
Switch
just if I
games.
was to ever get a Switch, I wouldn't ever play online. Like I feel like it's a very
You'd need it if you wanted to play like there's like a balloon mode in Odyssey that's quite cool. Like Donkey always does
okay.
videos on them where people can go and hide balloons. Oh, Animal Crossing is another big one that people
Yeah.
need. I guess technically you can play single player, but I think a lot of people do like the social aspect of Animal Crossing.
How much is it though? How much is
I think it might even be like.
It's not
I
£10 or
was gonna
something
say
ridiculous
it
like
might even
that.
be like £10 a month. Price
It better
UK.
not be.
It's £3.50 a month in
Okay, that's
2018. This is from an article from 2018, so I assume it's still the same. Yeah, but if you buy, of course, if you buy it in bulk, it's cheaper. So if you bought it at 1 month at a time, it would cost you. Oh, I hate, £42 a year, but if you buy it for a year at a time, it'll cost you £18.
so the yearly subscription for playing online Nintendo is double the price of Curiosity Stream bundled with Nebula. Okay,
And
interesting.
it's around the same as getting Origin access, which gives you
It's all
like
right.
which gives you
Okay.
like access to every single EA game for free.
Yeah. I
So
think one of those is better than the other.
yeah, true. Anyway, yeah, they did it again. They
I
took
don't
it.
understand Pac-Man
They took an
99,
old
by the
school battle
way.
royale game and they turned it into a battle royale game. I mean,
Don't get it. I don't get it.
it's here. Tony, you know I
I,
shit.
I
Tony, you know I shit talking the Razer mask, and I said it's CES. This is just a concept. They're never gonna make it. Apparently, Razer has confirmed that they're going to make the RGB Razer mask.
by the time it comes out though, won't it be kind of useless until the next pandemic though?
Probably. I think this is never. I still think it's never going to be made. I'm really hoping they
Mm.
prove. And you can buy, guys. You can buy it with what was that currency from Razer called? R silver
Uh,
or something.
I don't know.
Do you remember when you remember we talked about on the podcast? Razer was doing that thing where you could earn currency in their store by using their program in the background while you play games, and then if
Yeah,
you
I
saved up
vaguely
enough
remember.
RZ silver, you could buy like an RGB mouse mat or something.
Yeah, was it? Yeah, I remember being like ridiculous and
You had to
I
play
remember.
certain games. So you had to be playing like Dota 2 or CS:GO or something.
Yeah,
So yeah. Anyway,
didn't seem
this
worth
is
it
this
for
is quick.
8 gauges.
Tony, get the timestamps out. This is quick
Yeah,
news.
quick news.
Okay. You remember we said the PS Vita store was shutting down? Apparently, there was a PS Vita indie developer said that they were working on making a game for the PS Vita, and they had no
Yeah,
warning that the PS Vita store was actually
I
going to
did
close
see
down.
this. It
Uh,
does absolutely. What is it with like big? Like, if you own a platform where other people come to your platform to like make content of any kind, be that like gaming, like shows, whatever, wouldn't it be your number one thing to like inform the people who are making you money effectively? Like, actually tell people what's going on with it. Like,
yep.
is that not your first thing you should do? Like in advance.
I read I think I hadn't put it in here, but there was like a recent article from um, I think it was Jason Schreier from Bloomberg, and he was like basically saying like at the moment Sony is like they're basically shunning all game development and they're just trying to solely focus on movies right now. That's like their
Oh,
big
really?
focus. Yeah.
But I thought they were split across. Like, I thought Sony Entertainment was separate from Sony Games and things. Like, it wasn't
I
like
don't know how like the
I thought they
internal
didn't
split
really
actually
crosstalk. I
works.
understand like super from above, like the holding company might not might stop funding certain projects, but like I still
Look,
thought it was kind
yeah,
of
here it is. Sony's
independent.
obsession with blockbusters is stirring unrest within the PlayStation empire.
Right.
Apparently, there was like a Last of Us PS5 remake in development, but apparently it was cancelled because Sony wanted to focus more on like their movies. Um,
That's so weird. Okay.
yeah. There was in 2018 a small team of PlayStation developers
But
tried to build their own studio to remake The Last of Us. Today, that studio does not
but didn't
exist,
but
and
didn't the
has
first Last of Us make them so much money though?
well, they said
Like,
Sony's avoiding risk and prioritizing its biggest team. So basically, they're saying like
right.
this was a small team trying to come together to remake something. They're like, well, it might make money, it might not. Let's just focus on putting out the next
Yeah,
big,
which
I don't
which
know,
in my opinion is a
Ratchet and
massive
Clank.
fallacy because this is what
Let's get
every single big company does and fails eventually.
so yeah, that's what's going on with play. I think Sony's like a bit all over the place. They're like canceling Vita. They want to focus on movies. The PS5 is selling like
But
fucking
my
hot.
question is like
You
how
know the
much
PS5 is selling like fucking hotcakes despite
I
no
know.
one being able to get it.
My big question is like how much money are they spending on these services? Like they're saving like pennies to like I don't understand. I don't get it. Like they're saving pennies to like just like slap the consumer on the customer in the face. I don't get it.
So the game, I think it was a port actually. The game that was getting developed for Vita, it was the Vita port of Russian Subway Dogs. Said it's now rushing to get the project done in time. So Russian Subway Dogs may be the last game on the PS Vita ever. And in a weird way,
Yeah.
I think that might be very good advertising for the game for Vita owners. Like, I have to get the last PS Vita game ever.
Who owns a Vita though?
I think I'm sure it's like it's not a huge market, but I think it's the device itself is actually a really solid device. It's just
Yeah, I
undersold.
know that the device was really good for the time, and but I
I
feel like no one
yeah,
bought it.
I think that's the reason they're shutting it down. Like Vitas did not
Yeah,
sell well.
but it's closing down the same time as the PlayStation 3 store,
Because
though, right? So it's not just the PS
that
Vita.
because like famously there's been very good consoles. Like famously the GameCube is like
Mm-hmm.
it sold
Very good.
terribly, and
It was very good though.
people really loved it. Like if you don't know like the how like the PS1 is just the PS1's architect. The PS2 is basically just the PS1.
Yeah.
The Wii is the GameCube to a point where you can just plug GameCube games into the Wii and they run natively on the Wii because the Wii is just
Right.
a GameCube with motion controls basically. So,
Right. Okay.
but then as
That
soon as they
explains
put
the hardware
as soon
or the
as they
power of it.
yeah as soon as they like made the motion controls on the Wii, it sold like crazy. Like I think the Wii's still like the best selling console of all time. It just goes to show you like
Yeah.
when you can
It's
repackage similar products,
yeah.
sometimes it can
It's
sell
how
more.
you execute something
Obviously,
that.
the Wii's very different from the GameCube in
Yeah.
terms of like
I mean, you did
port.
good solid base, but I think how you execute like what you have is also very important as well. So
Yeah. Well,
Goes to show.
I think our good friends over at Denuvo can explain why Sony's
Are
been doing
they
this.
I like the notes we've got here, but it reminds me of them as like calling them like dedicated gamers. Like, are we lumping them in the same category as
Denuvo have
dedicated
said
gamers?
they are passionate gamers and that they're
So,
guaranteeing that they are not slowing games down.
so to
If
clarify, the
anything, they're making
CCP
games better.
dedicated gamers, de
Yep,
novo passionate gamers.
yep. There it is.
How are
I
they
mean,
guaranteeing this though?
I don't know. It's just bureaucracy at this point. It's like when G2A came out and said, "We are passionate gamers.
Just
We don't steal
yeah,
credit cards and then sell games on the grey market illegally. We're the good
we're a
guys."
brand for gamers.
It's like, yeah, but what about those times when Denuvo was removed from the game and then they actually got better frame times and faster load times? What was
Yeah,
going on
and
with
was
that game?
smaller.
Slowing down?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've got to the point where I
Hmm.
refuse to buy a game with Lenovo in though.
Kinda
So
sus. Kinda suspect.
yeah.
Okay. I was going to say Ratchet and Clank is getting a PS5 patch to re-release the PS4 remaster of Ratchet and Clank 1 with a 60 FPS patch for the PS5, but they just randomly released it. They're like, yeah, it's out now, and it's like, oh, okay.
Well, you
So
can play the any PS4 game digitally on your PS5, right?
yes, but unless it is updated to run at better frames, then
Yeah,
it's
it
still be
won't.
locked to
Yeah,
30
exactly.
FPS.
So I assume that's what they've done here is like an update for those who own it on PS5, but it's PS4 game they bought it in, I guess.
And
Does that make sense?
I've watched the. I don't know if you got a free digital upgrade to PS5. I don't know if that was a thing. Um, but from what I've seen of Digital Foundry, they said, yeah, it's a good port. The original runs at a solid 30 FPS. The remaster runs at 60 FPS. And after going back and playing it on 30 after playing 60, it just doesn't feel that great
Oh,
anymore.
apparently the old Ratchet and Clanks on PS2 and PS3 was 60 FPS.
Yeah, so I've said this before in the podcast, but people say, oh, old PS2 games, they ran at 30 FPS, and then as the PS3 came along, as the hardware got more powerful, they had to run at 30 FPS as well. No, that's not true.
No, it depends on the game.
Ratchet and Clank ran at 60 FPS all the way from the PlayStation 2 to a crack in time on the PlayStation
Yeah,
3. And you're maybe saying, well, that was atypical. No, a lot of PS2 games ran at 60
yeah.
FPS.
Well, there's always been the trade-off. Like people, it just never was really talked about. Like you have this set hardware limit, and you can either choose to have more fidelity and less frames, or less fidelity and more frames.
Hmm.
And there's always a flip between do we have it 60 or 30 FPS? It's like always at the trade-off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I don't know. I feel like 60 FPS should always be the target personally. Like if you can't handle the fidelity at 60, then just don't
Well, they were
have the
talking about
30.
like there was an article published around the time that they were going to the newer PS4 releases of Ratchet and Clank, and they were saying how they felt that gamers didn't really. The Ratchet and Clank guys felt that gamers didn't really care about 60 FPS that much, and they would rather go for more visual fidelity, which is why they pushed
Right.
more visual fidelity over
But
the
it's
60
so
FPS.
important, the fluidity and the feel of a game over what it looks
Yep,
like
and
statically.
as the Digital Foundry guy said, they disagreed at the time, and they think they still disagree. But I mean, we have it now. You can now play the game on the PS5 60 FPS. The cutscenes are still locked to 30 FPS, I believe.
That's fine, I think. You're not feeling anything or playing at
Yeah,
that point, it's more like a
no,
movie.
and that's fine. But yeah, as a huge Ratchet and Clank game who's seen that Sony is thinking about porting a lot of their first party titles to the PC. Ratchet and Clank on the PC, please. I want to play Ratchet and Clank at 60 FPS on my computer
Get your PS5.
with an Xbox controller. I'm not, but Tony, I cannot buy a PS5. Nobody can.
Damn. So
Oh,
that's a shame.
Tony,
You can't make your brass PS5 then.
I've got some really sad news, Tony. PUBG Lite, the free-to-play version of PUBG, is shutting down on April 29th. I know this is going to be devastating for you as a PUBG Lite fan, and I once again ask, I
I
once
actually
again
forgot
asked
PUBG was a thing.
I once again asked when I announced this last time, who was this for? The full version of PUBG exists that you can buy and play, and there's a free
Yeah.
mobile version. Who was PUBG Lite for? It was a stripped back free version of PUBG, and I just never saw the appeal of this. So, I,
Yeah, I don't understand. No, no. Then again,
PUBG
I'm still asking who was PUBG for, so
for player unknown.
yeah, whoever that guy
PUBG is
is.
still incredibly popular, especially in the
Is
Asian.
it? Okay.
In Asia, it's massive. I think in Korea, sure. I mean, Bluehole is based in Korea. I mean, PUBG
Oh, okay,
Studios
right.
is based in Korea. So I know in Asia, PUBG is, especially PUBG Mobile is huge in like the Chinese market and stuff. So
Yeah, I knew the mobile one was still pretty big, but I just didn't know people were still playing
yeah,
the
I think
main
it's
one.
still like a huge game over there.
Right. I still don't understand people playing mobile FPS games or mobile shooter games in general. It just
I don't
seems
know.
really
I
clunky.
mean, I'm someone who rarely dabbles into mobile games other than
Yeah.
playing Slay the
I'm
Spire on my
excited.
phone.
I'm kind of excited. Like we're getting to a point where phone hardware is fast enough to play decent games now.
Mm.
Well, like just like buying a flagship. You don't have to like buy a super
I,
flagship to like get a gaming
I,
experience that's good.
I still remember when I saw Infinity Blade running on a mobile phone for the first time, and that fucking blew my mind. That was
Yeah.
insane. At the time, I think Infinity Blade came out Infinity Blade came out 2010, and I was like, oh my god, this is running on a fucking phone. I can't believe
Yeah.
this. That
It's
at the
still
time
impressive
was
to this
like,
day though.
yeah,
Like considering the hardware at the time.
yeah, like fucking
I know like,
11
it's the
years old.
Snapdragon 888, and it's like, oh my god, this is so powerful. Like it's actually really like you could actually like I feel like eventually there'll be less shit games on mobile and actually some actual decent things you could
Okay,
just buy and play like a normal game.
next up, Deadly Premonition 2, A Blessing in Disguise is coming to PC. There will be a PC port of the Switch exclusive. From what I saw of the Switch port, it ran terribly.
Yeah, there's many problems with that game, and that is one of its main problems though. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Uh,
not sure because like the game the dev what was it like the lead dev
mm,
um he thought it was a good thing that like he thought anything that was bad was like a good thing 'cause it's like meant to be like funny bad,
right.
and he thought like the performance was funny bad, so
So
I'm
I
not
don't
holding out hopes.
I don't know much about Deadly Premonition 2. From what I understand, it's like the game where they just make references every 2 seconds to like movies.
Kind of it also it's like they've got there's the ideas like between the first game anyway, it's like there's like this charm of like how this like juxtaposition between this like really dark world and this guy that just like rides a skateboard everywhere and like we didn't have to, but like he just does stupid shit and it's like this is kind of adorable in a way. But I feel
Right.
like Day Premonition 2 isn't quite the game. It's not quite the sequel people wanted.
Well,
So
this is exciting news for Vietnam Dave because he wanted to play Deadly Premonition 2, so he doesn't
has
have
he
to go.
played one?
I, I assume so. Maybe
If
he
he
was
hasn't played
upset.
one, he should definitely
He
play
was
one. But
upset.
it sounds like he has.
He was upset. It was a Switch port, and
Yeah, yeah.
now he can finally play it on his PC if the port doesn't run like ass, which I'm assuming
Yeah,
it will.
from what I've seen of it running like ass, like it's really painful even to the like a viewer on YouTube. I can't even imagine what it is like to actually play it like with your hands. And
Mm.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, we have Forager's multiplayer mode has been officially cancelled. Um,
What?
so this was not something I knew about. I initially bought Forager, I think, at the end of 2020, and I bought it to play single player. And then I looked at the
Yeah.
roadmap, and then I saw, oh, they're actually adding a multiplayer mode to this. Dave said he has played Deadly Premonition 1. Okay.
Okay,
Um,
fair enough.
so they were actually going to add a multiplayer mode to this on the roadmap. And I was like, oh, it says it's going to be added now. And then I looked on the Steam thing, and they were like testing a beta for the Forager multiplayer, and
Okay.
yeah, so apparently the beta ran really poorly. Like it was very hard to get it to run at all. It was completely broken. It was not a good experience. So basically, what happened was, from what's explained in this Patreon post, is it was basically a spaghetti code. The code didn't work very well. It was built on some like very bad code, and he wanted to get more devs in to come and help him build the multiplayer on top of this code. None of the devs wanted to agree to work on top of the spaghetti code because they were saying,
Right.
why don't we just remake the code? It's going to be way easier than trying to work on top of this. And then he was
Yeah.
saying, and then he started asking the question of, well, how can I justify remaking the entire game over like a couple of years just to add multiplayer when I could just use that time instead to make like a Forager 2 or something? Because it doesn't make sense to go
Yeah.
back and rebuild this entire game. We might as well just make
Yeah.
a second game. So he said basically, if you bought Forager just to play the multiplayer, he is offering refunds for anyone. He just says, if you're a Patreon backer, if you bought it on Steam and you said, hey, I'm going to buy this game, it has multiplayer, it no longer has multiplayer. If you want a refund, he will try and help you through getting the refund if your sole goal with this game was to play multiplayer. I'm someone who bought this game to play single player, and I enjoy the single player, so I'm not going to be refunding this game. I just thought that multiplayer was a nice addition on the end when I
Yeah,
found out it was coming out, and I was like,
I was
oh,
actually looking forward to it.
but it's been cancelled, so. But
Yeah. It's still a good game, so check it
but
out.
he basically said this. Basically, now that he's not worrying and having all this stress about trying to get multiplayer to work, he can basically just focus on what he can do and
I
what he enjoys, which is making more content for the base game, like
I
improving
like how
the actual single
I
player
realize this is
stuff.
kind of how Patreon works, but I kind of like how open and like how he just explains like all the reasons and the feelings he has on it. Like I find that quite interesting. It's quite not many people kind of go into the details, right? Like of
Mm.
why they make decisions.
So I'll be giving away all the remaining multiplayer beta keys for free to let everyone that hasn't played the beta try it out for themselves. So if you did want to try out the glitchy beta, but people are saying like the state of the beta and the code base are like not good right now. So
Right.
I mean the single player game works pretty well for what it is. So
Is this like his first like big game project? Is this was why it's like so spaghetti code?
I from what I could see, I think this is the only thing he has worked on.
Yeah, I know it's very I know it's very hard to like it's one thing to say like oh if you make a good starting base code that isn't like confusing it's like
So look, he also made a game
it's a
called
good
he
base
made a
but it's
small
harder said
indie
than
game
done.
called Impossible Dungeons.
Right. That's actually that's smaller in scope.
I don't think it's not on Steam though.
Is it like an HIO thing?
I don't even know if you can purchase it. It may have just been like a. It was an
No.
award-winning small PC game, so maybe it was just like a game jam thing. I don't know, but
This
anyhow,
is quite a small game by the looks of it.
yeah. So basically, like Forager is like his main product, and it's kind of like his first product. But for like his
Yeah.
first product, it's fucking sick.
Oh yeah. I'm just saying like your first big project is always like massive spaghetti code. Like it's very hard to like know how to organize it and
Dave
be
says
prepared for it.
Deadly Premonition is Twin Peaks the game. Okay. That's all. Like,
Kind of. I can see that.
Terraria is getting Steam Workshop support, and you may be saying, doesn't Terraria already have Steam Workshop support? No, it has Tmod Loader support as DLC, so you can, which Tmod Loader is going to get Steam Workshop support, but Terraria itself is getting Steam Workshop support, which will let you load in
What?
maps and resource packs.
Right.
So
Okay.
if you want to reskin the game,
I can
you,
I just say before I
yeah,
like how this is such big news that like Steam I think told me about it when I updated Steam like a couple of weeks ago. It's
yeah.
like oh yes, Terraria Steam Workshop. It's like oh, okay, big update I guess. I mean,
So
it is big. I think that it's really cool to be able to like actually like load this in a lot
yeah, so
easier.
you can
So
upload your world. So
yeah.
if you've built a cool world and you want to share it with people, you can do that. Resource packs, music packs, language packs. But if you want to play like a full, there's lots of really cool Terraria mods from what I've heard. So if you want to install and play like a really like a Minecraft like a
Like a
Tekkit level
content
mod or
pack.
something
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
you need to use Tmod Loader for now.
Yeah.
So it's cool that this exists. Like Steam Workshop is always a cool feature, but yeah. We got some more information about Mass Effect Legendary Edition. They talked about
Wait, more information than smaller butts. What's going on?
what? Okay, yeah. So they actually gave us some real rebalancing, tuning, and mechanical improvements. Basically, what I saw was I was reading through it.
Oh,
a little bit, but I don't have context for like I've never really played Mass Effect, so
they've
basically what they're saying is they're basically bringing the first game. They're adding quality of life improvements to
yeah.
the next games and bringing it more in line with the. They're bringing the first game more in line with the quality of life improvements that were added to number two and number
So it
three.
looks like yeah, it looks like they're making it like in line with two that they like all weapons have ammo. It's not like a cooldown thing
Yeah,
or overheating thing, I guess.
yeah, you can sprint out combat.
And you've got proper aiming. Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Inventory management improvements. Medigel use has been improved.
I'm curious to know how much they're going to add elements from three into one and two because three added actually quite a lot of map movability that wasn't really in even two, let alone one.
Mm.
So I'm curious to know like how they're going to do that, but I am really curious to know how that's going to feel like it because a three's movement and combat is actually really good. So
Tony, the infamous Mako vehicle has been calibrated to perform better than ever in the
oh
original game. They
yes,
improved the terrible handling on the Mako.
no, I think we should. I believe in classic Mass Effect. We should have the really
Tony,
bad Mako.
do you have classic Mass Effect? You can just play Mass
I know,
Effect.
I know. I just I never want to play the original Mako ever again. Fuck that piece of shit. Oh my god, it's so bad.
They've unified the Shepherd customization options, so you can keep a consistent Shepherd along all three games. Because I know, like, save importing was like a big feature.
Yeah, you could
Um,
There was some yeah, I remember there's some issues from one to two actually. Like if you imported a game from one to two, like there were extra options I think from one and two.
right.
Like so you could then you had to then go and change it slightly if you wanted it to look similar. From what I remember, I can't
Hmm.
actually remember that since so long.
Oh, Tony,
But yeah,
this is really fucking interesting. Um, there's. Do you remember the game Homefront?
I remember Homefront vaguely.
Vaguely.
Yes.
There's a fully playable Time Splitters 2 PC port
What?
inside Homefront Revolution from
What?
2015.
What? Since when?
So it's been revealed recently that if you enter some cheat codes into Homefront the Revolution from 2015, as an Easter egg,
Time Splitters
you
2.
can play the entirety of Time Splitters 2 on your PC. You can play the
As an
arcade.
Easter egg.
Yep, you just type in this code, and you can play the Time Splitters arcade mode and the story mode of Time Splitters 2. This seems insane. It was thought that
Okay.
because people knew that there was a code required to unlock the Easter egg, and people thought it was lost to time, like nobody would ever figure out what the code was. But actually, recently they just figured out what the code is, and now we finally have a fully playable version of Time Splitters 2 inside Homefront: The Revolution.
LT up, LT up, down, LT right, right plus left, RTB. It's just really a really weird combination.
I looked up Homefront: The Revolution on Steam, and it doesn't have some positive reviews. I mean, people are not kind to it. Maybe the reviews have changed now that
This has been found.
yeah.
Maybe. But
Oh, here we go.
I
I
don't know.
literally clicked on it a couple of days ago and it said mixed reviews. Recent reviews, mostly positive. Yep, I'm going to read the reviews and
Right.
then we're going to say Time Splitters. Here it is. It's time to split. Time Splitters 2 is a classic. Here it is. Yeah. So this game had really terrible reviews before, and now that you can play Time Splitters 2 on it on PC, people are like, this is the greatest game ever. I love Homefront: The Revolution.
Wait, was Time Splitters I guess two. Was that not for PC as well?
No, no. I've
Really?
only ever played Time
Okay.
Splitters on an arcade machine. I've never played on anything else.
PlayStation
My
2, GameCube, and Xbox.
Yep,
Okay.
it's like an OG game, and they were massive. If you've ever been to like a cinema or an arcade, you've probably seen
It
Time
was.
Splitters on an arcade machine
Yeah,
at
I'm
some
pretty
point.
sure I've seen them there.
It was a massive game, like when you had like those plastic guns you could shoot with and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Very, very popular, that sort of style. So yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess Homefront's the best game ever made. Oh, then.
Uh,
Okay.
Counter-Strike max fixing is so bad in minor leagues in Counter-Strike Go, the FBI is getting involved.
Wait, what?
So the North American MDL, a minor league CS Go league, where players don't actually make a whole lot of money for competing in it. Players were getting bribed by outside betting syndicates in order to fix the matches. So usually they're going to get bribed a lot more money than they're getting paid by these owners. And then, um, because it's not just like a small thing. There's actually big betting syndicates outside of like the ecosystem. They're now
Yeah.
working with law enforcement and the FBI, who only recently have made a sports betting investigation unit within the FBI in order to try and catch these sort of people. So
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty interesting that like um, now that there's some like match fixing going off in Australian Counter Strike in one of the minor leagues that the FBI is getting involved, like investigating this sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, I guess especially like now because like you can only do this like over the internet anyway, so it's probably exacerbating the
Well, I think it's
situation even
like
more, right?
esports betting has been such a huge unregulated thing for a long
Yeah,
time,
that as well.
so it makes sense that as soon as they
Because
go,
sports
wait,
betting is normally
people are
regulated
making lots
massively.
of money, we need to put
Yeah.
taxes on this. Let's get involved.
Yep.
It won't be the FBI that gets them; it will be the tax man. That's for sure.
Is that how that works?
That's how they got Al Capone. It was the
Yeah,
tax
it's
man that got
true.
Al Capone. Anyway, let's move on. Delays. Deathloop has been delayed until September 14th, 2021. Um, they said they apologised and they wanted to ensure the health and safety of everyone at Arcane, and they're using the extra time to accomplish our goal of create a fun, stylish, and mind-bending player experience.
I still
And
don't understand the game, but yeah.
Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga has been delayed with no ETA. Business.
No.
That means Yodel. Is it Yodel, the female Yoda, will be delayed in Lego form? Is it
Damn.
Yodet? Yodet? Yodel? I don't
No,
fucking. How
I
many
think it's like
toes does
Yodel or
she have?
something.
That's the real
Wait,
question.
someone's someone replied to this with just Luke pissing into the I can't remember what the pit's called in episode
The
6. The
Snorlax pit.
Sarlacc, that's it.
That made sense to me.
Oh, I'm gonna save this image for
Okay, thank
future
you.
reference.
CG Projekt Red has Capital Group has acquired the Canadian Digital Straits game development studio. They've dubbed it CG Projekt Red Vancouver. The studio only has a dozen or so employees, so this is probably just CG Projekt Red trying to get their foot in the door in Vancouver, and then they'll hire their own team and build out CG Projekt Red Vancouver on their own sort of thing. Um, it may
Right,
I
okay.
it may make more sense to have a studio in like closer to America, because I know CG Projekt Red is based mostly in Poland. They're a Polish team, so
Yeah.
it probably makes sense to have a team closer to North America.
I guess they want the talent there, right? Like
Yep.
if you want to, yeah, that makes sense.
505 Games has bought Ghost Runner IP for 5 million euros. This is kind of
Okay.
interesting. It seems like they thought Ghost Runner. I've played through the whole Ghost Runner. I think it's a cool game. So it's interesting that 505 has bought the IP so they can do more stuff with it. Maybe we'll be getting a Ghost Runner sequel from 505. Depends what they want to do with it. They did have a roadmap for Ghost Runner they showed off, but it didn't really show anything interesting. Like, all they showed off was like they were going to make an Amazon Luna cloud gaming version of the game, and they were going to have
Right.
DLC packs, but the DLC packs are basically just cosmetics, and I'm like, I don't really care. It's a single player game, so
Yeah.
I hopefully this means they can get enough funding to make a Ghost Runner sequel because I enjoyed the original. I'd like to play another one or like a long story DLC. Epic Games apparently has lost 181 million and 273 million dollars on the Epic Games Store alone in 2019 and 2020 respectively. So
What the hell?
apparently this is mostly due to the fact that it's offering exclusive games and free titles on the Epic Games Store. So they committed to $444 million to get exclusive deals for the Epic Games Store in 2020 alone. So every time you see a game exclusive on Epic, know that the Epic Games spent 444 million just to get all of those games in 2020 on the Epic Games
Yeah,
Store.
that's insane.
Um, Basically, the reason we know they're losing money in the Epic Games Store is because this information was forced to come out because of the Epic lawsuit. Epic
Yeah,
and Apple are obviously still in a massive lawsuit, and Apple is arguing that the Epic Games Store is not an app store, so it shouldn't be treated as one. And they're saying, hey, they make all this money on other stores, and they do all these other stuff. Um, but to put this into perspective for you, Tony, they lost 330 million in those 2 years, but that's still less than a third of what they made in 2018 alone.
yeah,
So what
it
I
is
say to
insane.
you is they can keep taking this loss, and the whole time they're still making a lot more money overall, and
Yep,
it's still a play to increase the Epic Games Store market share.
yep.
They're still getting more people on the Epic Games Store. They could keep buying exclusives, and they could keep giving out free games almost indefinitely, and Epic Games would still make a massive profit. Like,
As long as their cash cow stays alive.
yeah, Fortnite,
Yeah,
Marquez Brownlee. Um,
yep.
so yeah, like obviously, if you're going to take on Steam, you're going to have to spend a lot of money in order to try and take on one of the best gaming
Yeah.
storefronts in the world. Because I would say to them, maybe rather than focus on exclusives, they should focus on, I don't know, a
Features?
shopping cart. Um,
Yeah. I feel like Steam as well, like recently, like they keep adding like slowly, admittedly, but like, they keep adding like new features which I think are actually really
yeah,
useful. So
groups, forums, Steam Workshop,
yeah.
inventory, guides, marketplace, remote play together, live streaming from the app.
A good review system that you can actually like see what the hell's
Yeah,
going on.
fantastic review
I
system.
really I really appreciate the review system. That's actually
An
really
overlay.
good.
I don't know if people would want an. Is there? I think that I don't even know if the
There's
Epic
an
has
Epic
an
overlay,
overlay.
isn't it?
I
Is it
never
really
use
bad
it.
though, right?
I know Origin definitely has one.
Yeah, Origin definitely has one.
How the ability to peer offline, you can't do that on Epic. Um,
No, but there's no the friend features in Epic is shit. So
yeah, the friend list is pretty piss poor.
the yeah, Steam has like put all this like forum and chat and messages and groups and technically voice calling if you don't have Discord for some reason. So
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like they've kind of misunderstood like how they're out competing. Or maybe not out competing, but like trying to like get their niche. So I don't know.
Oh, I was gonna say I played. Speaking of Ghost Runner, I got Ghost Runner in the Epic Games Store, and I was running into an issue where after every level it would crash. So in order
Yeah,
to find out what to do of what was going on and how to fix it, I went to the Steam forums for Ghost Runner because that's the
classic.
easiest way to get
I
information about the game.
I will say, when it comes to tech problems and like game problems in general, the Steam forum is
Yeah,
actually
it's
like when
so
you search for
fucking
stuff on Google, it
useful.
always pops up near the top. So
Anyway,
it's a really good forum in general.
Sega lawyers did some interesting stuff recently. So
What the fuck is this?
they DMCA'd Yakuza's Like a Dragon Steam DB page. And
Okay.
the reason they may have done this is there's a button on SteamDB that you can hit install on, which will it will check if you own the game and then it will install it through Steam. They may have thought
Yeah.
this was instead a piracy button, that SteamDB was somehow redistributing a pirated version of Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Did
Yeah,
they even try clicking the button?
no, I think they just saw the button and went, take it down, take it down. They're a pirate company, SteamDB, the Steam database, they're a pirate company. So basically,
Right.
that's what's
Okay.
going on. The creator of SteamDB was getting in touch with Sega. He said he got in touch with someone at Sega of America and it's being looked into. Thanks everyone for the support. And the issue has now been resolved and the Yakuza Like a Dragon SteamDB page is back up. So I just thought that was a fucking hilarious story from like the perspective of I can't believe like the people over at Sega were like they thought Steam database was redistributing their game illegally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's crazy.
Speaking
Okay.
of business news, speaking of business, after rumors of E3 being paywalled, it is now confirmed that E3 2021 will return this June in digital form for free and is being backed by Nintendo, Xbox, Capcom, Konami, Ubisoft, Take-Two,
What?
Warner Brothers and Koch Media. So
Right.
Koch Media.
Yeah, I think you need to pronounce that properly.
I
I
don't
felt
know
like
if that's
didn't in
it pronounced.
2020 didn't they just like release like just a ton of trailers? That's kind of just what happened from it.
Yeah, but there was like, I mean, I think we talked about it. I don't remember if we talked about it, but we are talking about how the physical E3 got cancelled again this year
Yeah,
prematurely.
yeah.
I was like,
I'm pretty sure we talked about that.
obviously that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But as a trade show, I think they made a lot of their money by what they did was they sold physical spots at the E3 venue where
Yes.
vendors would buy spots at the E3 venue, and these spots would cost insane amounts of money. You can't imagine how much
Yep.
these spots would cost. And then, like, the big businesses who wanted to announce their games would also have to pay E3 in order to get a spot there. But then recently, what I've been seeing, like, I think in a weird way, Nintendo was actually a trendsetter instead of being way behind
Yeah.
everyone else, where they started the
No,
Nintendo.
I actually agree with Nintendo on this one. Like, I don't like the corporation behind E3 to begin with.
They started with the Nintendo Treehouse and then turned into
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo Direct, where they were like,
Yep.
"Well, why don't
Yep.
we just host our own?" You're essentially just hosting a live stream. Why don't we just
Yeah.
host our own live stream around the same time? Like, if people are
It must
looking
be
for game
cheaper.
news, yeah. But
But Sony followed.
it seems like big companies are still backing it. We haven't heard
Well,
about
Sony's not on the list
yeah,
though, right? Like they're still
EA,
not backing it.
EA and PlayStation are still. I mean, we have State of Play and we have um,
Yeah. Why not?
EA. Isn't EA also called EO State of Play?
I
Aren't they
don't
both called
know.
EA State? Aren't they both EA Play? That's what it's called.
But I
It's
quite
there
like
again.
how tactical both Nintendo, Sony, and EA have been. It's like, yeah, we're just going to release it at the same time. Like, it's still kind of going to have the E3
Well,
buzz. It's just not going to be with E3.
Nintendo's backing
Yeah, I don't
this
understand
one.
Nintendo backing this. That's what I don't
Well, I
understand.
assume that they've made some sort of. Feel like it's not costing them a lot of money to be in this sort of thing. But
Yeah,
I think what
maybe.
Nintendo does is they do quite a big few. They do like big announcements on the main E3 stream because they go, well, it's still getting a lot of exposure, and then they just run
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
then they run like a couple of day long like their own Treehouse live stream where they show like
But
extended gameplay for announcements and stuff like
yeah, but I
that.
swear people would go to that if there's nothing else. Like, people are crazy about
Yeah,
Nintendo.
like
Like, I feel
we
like,
talk about Nintendo Directs all the time on this podcast.
yeah, I feel they
I
don't
watch
need to do
Nintendo
that.
Directs. Like if you said, "Hey, we're Nintendo, we're not going to be at E3, we're going to do our own live stream," I'd watch it. I'm interested to see what you're going to do. Like
Yeah,
Nintendo said
my,
recently, they want to focus on their own original IPs again. Like they want to
yeah,
focus on the new Zelda games. They want to make more Mario games. They want to do more original stuff. So
yeah, maybe a new IP, not just the old stuff. That's a good idea. Yeah,
so
I'm hoping one day the like E3 won't be like an actual venue. It would just be like the idea of like, oh, June that year we'll have like some big game reveals. Like I
mhm.
really don't. I really hope E3 doesn't stay in this current form.
EA has been granted a patent for dynamic difficulty adjustment. My
Right?
first question is, how is this not the director system from Left 4 Dead?
It might
Where
be in a novel way. It depends how the pattern has been written, but it also is not. It might also not be because patent policing is really shit in general. I
so
really hate how patents are
if
put
you don't
through.
know, let's go back of history. So back in the past, there was a patent in there was a class action lawsuit against Electronic Arts because they had uh, a dynamic difficulty adjustment tactic where it's claimed that the company was adjusting the game difficulty in such a way to promote the purchase of loot boxes. Um, the lawsuit was dismissed after EA apparently explained the plaintiffs that how they managed difficulty in a technical way. It was by no means intended to promote microtransactions. They have been
Oh,
granted this patent for dynamic difficulty adjustment, and they have said that while they do own the patents, none of them are being used in their sport titles right now, including FIFA or
um,
NFL. Furthermore, they have clarified that the patent is a continuation of applications that started back in 2016. And if you want to read more about EA's stance on DDA and fair play, you can follow this link.
it looks like this pattern is I might be misreading this, but they're not, I can't see a mention of this, but it looks like a machine learning system.
And the software is designed for a software to engage users as long as possible. User is engaged engage with the software, the more likely they are software will
But
be successful.
they're trying to get a prediction model to see how engaged a user is, and then
Yeah.
they then change the weights and
So
difficulties based upon that.
so I will. One thing I will say is, like, if they were using this pattern for its intended purpose, I like it because it's
Yeah,
like how the YouTube algorithm is trying to recommend you more videos to make you watch
yeah,
more YouTube. The YouTube algorithm is designed
yeah,
to keep you engaged with YouTube and give you more stuff you enjoy. This is similar to that, where it's like we want to keep you engaged in the game and keep playing. The problem comes in when it
yeah,
goes, how do we keep the player keep coming back so they buy more loot boxes? That's where it kind
yeah.
of like goes the other way.
That's where the law needs to make sure you can't get away with like
But with
exploiting the mentality or like
but
the
as you know, like patterns can be so broad and
Yeah, this doesn't seem to be super broad though. This seems to be like a really specific implementation. This seems like a legit pattern.
okay.
This doesn't seem to be like a piss take.
Well, we'll have to see if EA keeps their promises and being the good guys. Why am I getting recommended a recent post? Randy Fitchford talks about Colonial Marines. Hang on, we got some breaking news from April 7th.
Breaking news.
Randy Pitchford has talked about Alien Colonial Marines development issues. Um,
What?
I guess is he finally
This
said?
recently?
This is from April 7th, 2021.
What?
On a recent podcast, Gearbox boss Randy Pitchford went into more details on the Aliens Colonial Marines development process and how there are a large number of other issues with the game. It got a lot of buzz when it came out, the possibility of putting onto the role of a colonial marine dealing with xenomorphs on a massive ship. However, not only was the game nowhere near as good as looking as the trailer believed us, the game was plagued with bugs and poor AI. On the Academy of Interactive Arts and Science podcast, I don't know why they were talking to Randy Pitchford because he's neither a scientist nor autistic.
That's true. He's a boss. He's a CEO, right?
He
He's a
said
businessman.
basically he threw Sega under the bus and said Sega, the publisher of the game, was also a significant reason why the game failed. Around the time of development, Borderlands 2 was also in development, which Gearbox had their A team on, whereas Sega was pushing for Colonial Marines to be developed to be good release in February. Pitchford pledged with Sega to allow them 6 more months to iron the game out and get their more experienced developers to help on it once they'd finished working on Borderlands 2, but Sega was adamant it must come out at this time. So
Right.
it wasn't Randy Pitchford's fault that Colonial Marines was a massive failure and a lie and a scam. It was actually Sega's
They
fault.
still shouldn't have done the vertical demo though. That is still incredibly misleading.
Yeah.
So I
Guys,
still blame Randy for that.
Randy Pitchford strikes again.
I
Make sure to
agree
check
with
out
it's not
the
entirely Randy's fault, but I feel like it's always been like the status quo. Like people assume that it's like both Sega and Gearbox's fault. So.
computer components. Tony, you weren't planning on buying any computer components before the year
Oh no, I wouldn't be
2022.
so stupid to do that.
So it turns out Foxconn has admitted that its component shortage would last until mid 2022. If you don't know
Yeah.
Foxconn, they are the largest supplier for Apple, but not just Apple. They also supply global chips for pretty much everything, as well as TSM. So TSM,
TSMC.
and apparently, Tony, TSMC could be jacking up chip prices by up to 25% by
Yeah.
the end of
Mhm.
2021. So not only are we going to have no graphics cards, we're going to
I
have more
wonder why
expensive
Intel are
graphics
doubling
cards.
down on making their own chips.
Hmm. Let's hope. Let's hope like Samsung just comes out with some really cool technology, and they can actually produce it,
Yeah.
and it's a good competitor to like TSMC and Foxconn because
Well, I think there's going to be competition in this space, like it's been forced because
Vic
of both this
and
pandemic and
hopefully Biden's executive order to make chips in the
yeah,
US comes through or something. Please, we need more.
support, which is supported by Intel as well, right?
We
Like,
need
there should be
we
like
need
actual
more
fabs in
chips.
America.
So apparently, the NVIDIA RTX 3070 was the best-selling GPU.
Ever.
It outsold every other GPU in March 2021.
Really? Like,
Yeah.
who bought it? Is this from scalpers? Or is this from real people?
I think this is based on Steam's hardware survey.
Oh, so this is real people.
Yeah, so like I know how like people say like the 30 series cards nobody has them, but there's actually quite like a
No, yeah.
substantial amount of people in this the hardware survey actually using these technology on
Well, it
Steam.
says as Linus points out, right? It's not that there's like it's not a supply issue. It's a demand issue that so many people want new hardware that it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and like the uptake
This is the most production I've ever had.
the uptake in the 30 series, like it was actually a very good generational jump from the
Yeah,
20
it was
series
massive. Yeah,
being kind of disappointing compared to the 10 series. So,
yeah,
um, if
it's
if
insane.
if graphics cards existed, Tony, I would still say I think the 3060 Ti is the sweet
Mm.
spot in
Yeah, I
terms of
agree. I
power
agree
to
with that. I think
performance.
I would also say though, if you have a 20 series, it's not worth upgrading one generation, despite the massive improvement from 20 to 30 series.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for the 4000
Yeah,
series
yeah,
because there's
exactly.
no point me even trying to get the 30 series. So,
Yep, I agree with that.
Half-Life One mod.
Like,
So, you want to say something before we move
no,
on?
I was gonna say that we should probably just wait to DDR5 motherboard CPUs in the 40 series at this point.
Gen 4 PCIe.
Yeah,
Um,
that as well.
I'm going to be talking about this, but Microsoft is planning a gaming event for April, and I said on the podcast, I'm predicting that smart memory accesses will be talked about in April. So,
Yeah, you called it.
okay.
You put it on the tick box of things you predicted and got
Well,
right.
I'm taking an early prediction on this one, so we still don't know
Okay.
if they're going to be talking about it, but fingers crossed. It makes sense that they would be. Um,
It is pretty big.
Half-Life 1 mod. So the Half I don't know if you noticed, but the original Half-Life 1 on Gold Source, it doesn't have subtitles at all. I mean, Half-Life
Oh,
1
really?
kind of bucked the trend when it came out because at that time no games really had voice acting in them. So,
Oh,
um,
okay, right.
but the interesting thing is there was a third-party mod that people made called the Half-Life 1 subtitles mod, which added third-party subtitles to the game. The really interesting thing is it's been removed from
Right.
ModDB, which makes no sense to me because they even made a post saying there was apparent legal issues. Um,
I
well,
don't understand the legal issues though. Like, I don't like surely transcribing a thing of accessibility doesn't like has like a legal precedent.
my question is, if there was legal issues, does this mean that Valve is trying to remove Half-Life 1 mods for some reason? Because this isn't the first
Yeah.
mod that's been hit. There's also the Half-Life Uplick add-on has been removed from
Oh
ModDB as
God.
well.
Okay.
Uh, where I don't know if this is related to the Half-Life 1 subtitles mod being removed, but this mod integrated the uplink demo levels that were never added to Half-Life 1 full release on the Steam version. It integrated them into the core Half-Life 1 game. So you could play the uplink demos as well as play the full game in one package. But this has been removed as well, and it seems like this might be a legal issue as well, where Valve is trying to
Hmm.
stamp their foot on some sort of potential copyright thing, but I've seen
Yeah.
no statement from Valve, and I haven't seen literally anyone else talking about this. So I'm not like sure if this is just flying massively under the radar, or like
Or
this
something
is
else is going on.
yeah, it's kind of
Yeah, that
interesting.
is very odd.
And I'm typing in Half-Life 1 mods, and I'm getting a Half-Life Alyx Jurassic Park fan mod popping up.
Right, here we go. Take it
Okay.
down.
Right. I'm talking about.
The MCA.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah, that seems odd. Like, unless they're doing something with something, I don't really understand what's
I'm
caused this.
hoping Valve puts out a statement, but knowing Valve,
Yeah.
that the company that never communicates with anyone for any reason, there will be nothing
Well,
said.
unless it gets really big.
Okay, you'll know it's big if Gaben makes a statement,
Yeah.
but that never happens unless like
But I'm saying if a massive
something
shitstorm
happens.
from this,
And
then
what
maybe,
was the
but
last shitstorm Gaben had to get involved with was
artifacts?
I think it was
Because before that it was paid mods, right?
had to get involved with paid mods. I think he had to talk about I think it was it loot boxes maybe he CS:GO gambling I think was the last thing he had to
Oh,
talk about.
maybe. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
But he's basically the PR guy at this point. I'm gonna if I hear more about what's going on with Half-Life One mods randomly being removed for potentially copyright issues, I will come back to this if I can find more information about it. But if this is something that's happening, you heard it here first. This is the podcast inside scoop that something's going on with Half-Life 1 add-ons.
Something big is
Yeah,
happening in Valve.
Valve's playing 5G chess right now. Big moves.
Yeah.
So this is what I was alluding to earlier. Microsoft is planning a What's Next for Gaming Xbox event. This is reportedly coming after the GameStack event on April 20th. So on April 20th, they're going to be talking about DirectX 12 Agility SDK, which is basically one of the complaints from DirectX 12 is it's hard for developers to get their games running with it, and DirectX Agility basically is trying to solve a pain point for developers who say that adopting DirectX 12 can be cumbersome. With the Agility
Yeah.
SDK, Microsoft will claim the new features are even easier to adopt and it won't interrupt or impact existing games and comes with more reliable bug fixes.
That's really good. That's
So
really
they're
good. I,
trying
I
to...
quite like the modern day like being able to make it easy to adopt certain
Yeah.
technologies. That seems like a good move in a good direction.
So the GameStack event will have new Xbox dev features, cloud gaming, and more. But the What's Next for Gaming event will be coming like soon after the GameStack event. So I'm not sure if they're
Right.
going to talk about DirectX storage at GameStack or at this event that's going to be separate of What Next for Gaming Xbox event. But
Yeah.
we will have to see if they're going to talk about DirectX storage for PC as they've alluded to um, late last year. There's also a rumor going around right now. Apparently, Xbox is reportedly in talks to publish Hideo Kojima's next game. So that's pretty interesting
Right.
news. I mean,
Okay.
Hideo Kojima's he made the PlayStation exclusive, Death Stranding. He might make an Xbox exclusive with Xbox. He tried to make a Stadia exclusive, and Stadia was like, "No, we don't need Hideo Kojima." What's next? Hideo Kojima's going to make the next Mario game. He's going to have a Switch exclusive.
Yes, I hope so.
A
It's going to be
Nintendo
Metal
exclusive.
Gear Mario.
Yeah. Okay. Main news. Oh god, that's loud. Basically, let's go through all the fake April Fools posts. Tony, Big
Yeah.
Chungus is now canon. Can you believe
Right.
this? Looney Tunes.
I can actually.
Looney Tunes World of Mayhem now has an official character of Big Chungus. He's called Big Chungus, and he gets really big and he squashes people.
Okay.
And his taunt is he says the voice line from the Big Chungus episode where they took the screen cap of really big butts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean I haven't downloaded Looney Tunes World of Mayhem to officially check if he's in the game, but
What if it's not a Discord thing and it don't remove it afterwards?
This could have been fake, and for all I know, it is. But I'm not gonna download this game. So guys, Looney Tunes has officially accepted Big Chungus as canon. He is an official canon character in the Looney Tunes cinematic universe.
Big Chungus.
And also, they're making that new Space Jam film that looks where they nerfed Lola Bunny.
I still don't understand that, but if it's
Yeah.
like a Tifa thing, then I think I understand.
So I'm hoping Big Chungus will be on Space Jam too.
As a reference.
Control 1996. This was a fake trailer by Remedy where they basically they had a version of Control that looked like it came out on the original PlayStation.
I really like these
1996.
demake looking things though.
Yeah. Basically, what people noticed was there was a lot of like dev textures and stuff. So it seems like what they did was they took a really early prototype of the game and then they added like a PS1 noise filter on top of it, and then they
Yeah.
turned this into their April Fool's joke, because you can see stuff like to do like dev textures and stuff like that, and it's like
So yeah.
this was probably just like an early gameplay prototype sort of thing.
I mean, it looks good. I'll be happy with this on the PlayStation 1.
Raph put out a fake April Fool's joke where they were going to release a DLC with a brand new paint system, where they had a new paint system where you would have to... Paint now needs time to dry, so you would have to watch the wet paint dry. And seagulls would also love the smell of the wet paint, so they would now be attracted to the paint and try licking it off.
Right.
So if you don't fend off seagulls, they would lick the paint off, and you would have to paint it again and wait for it to dry. And if you thought seagulls weren't bad enough, there's now advanced seagulls that attack you in attack formations.
Oh God.
That are like, this is like Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds.
Yeah.
Minor changes implemented previously unused voice lines for Bruce. If you don't know, Bruce is the name of the shark, so obviously Bruce doesn't have any voice lines, but yeah.
Right. I don't know what Seagull Rock is though. That sounds
New
amazing.
building block 5D foundation. Language removed, US English, language added, Elvish. I thought this was a good in the spirit of April Fool's shitpost update.
Yeah, I like that. I like that's good. That's good. That's a good one.
Razor Chroma was an interesting one, which is a real thing. It was like a real app. I mean, Razor Chroma is not real, obviously. What Razor Chroma was basically, they were saying, Razor. I like that Razor's playing into the fact that we're the RGB people. We just make the RGB products. We're gonna make hair dye that adds RGB to your hair, and
with nanotechnology.
The actual, obviously the hair dye is not real. I mean, fingers crossed. I did call out the RGB Razor mask not being real, and apparently that's real now. So if somehow
this would be really cool though. I could see this eventually being real in our reality.
If somehow Razor makes RGB hair a reality, I'm gonna have to apologize for that one as well.
Do you have to apologize? I feel like you just what's wrong, guys?
But the actual like app where you could make your hair RGB as like an AR filter is real. Like my friend downloaded and used it. So if you wanted to try that out, it might still be available.
Oh my God, they recreated the guy like looking at like the other woman meme. Oh my God. Okay.
Oh yeah, I see that now. Yeah.
She's
got RGB hair. Sven Co-op, the co-op version of Half-Life 1, came out with a fake collector's edition update where they were joking that they were going to create a collector's edition where you could play Half-Life 1 co-op on a floppy disk.
Yes, what we all needed.
Discord did a fucking unimaginable thing where as an April Fool joke, they allowed you to download where you could use custom sound packs, including the rapper Lil Yachty, My Uncle, which was just my uncle going, "The Wi-Fi's broken."
Random squeaky and train sounds
Every time someone joined the call, like, "Hey kiddo," and stuff like that.
Hey kiddo.
There was chaos mode where you could get like duck noises and stuff.
What's the message of the uncle? I can't remember now. Like when you get a new message.
It wasn't just like ahem or something like that.
Something like that.
There was like coughing for something.
I can't quite remember anymore.
I love that.
It's been removed.
It came out on April 1st, and I was like, and then 10 days later, I was still using it. I was like, okay, maybe it's not an April Fool's joke. They've just implemented the sound packs. One of the most heavily requested features on fucking Discord was the ability to use custom sounds as notifications. 10 days later, by the way, we've just randomly removed it in an update without saying anything.
It's like the April Fool's that Discord did 3 years ago, the at someone, I thought was really fantastic. Like I feel like it was just like a really cool thing that they could just kept in there. Right. Like, I don't know, I feel like you shouldn't remove good April Fool's jokes.
Dave's saying he can't reload the stream, but we're still live. It's on your end, Dave. But yeah, it would have been a really funny April Fool's joke if they made it like a terrible feature that was really hard to use and then lasted for 1 day. But why give me a fantastic feature that I've wanted for years for 10 days and then snatch it from me?
Then you could add. They could add customer added support for like being able to like load in like extra ones and like make it easy to like make your own and things. That'd been really cool.
Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. It's so funny that I've never seen The Godfather, but I know that reference more from the Sopranos episode doing an impression of The Godfather than I do from The Godfather, and the Sopranos version is completely different from the actual scene from The Godfather.
Oh, really?
So my whole time I thought it was him going, "They pull me back in," like really expressively. No, in the actual Godfather, he's really soft-spoken. I don't know why in The Sopranos they do it like really emotionally. But I prefer the Sopranos version, so that's the version I'm going with.
It's the one you know and love.
Yeah. Anyway, so those are all the fake April Fool's jokes. I'm still pissed off that basically, Discord has the suggester feature. The entire like suggester feature is bring sound packs back.
Yeah, I second that.
hmm So yeah, hopefully they bring them back. I hate it when like April Fool's jokes are like, but wait, why is this a
Good.
joke? We actually want this.
Yeah.
So let's go into real April Fool's jokes before we end the podcast. Platinum has confirmed that its April Fool joke arcade shooter Soul Cresta is in fact actually a real product. It's part of its arcade line. It's the first in a planned series. Soul Cresta will release as a downloadable only title for Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and Steam this year. The Bayonetta developer confirmed via the press release on Friday. So this was announced on April 1st, but is a real game. Dungeons of Aether, a turn-based roguelite coming in 2022. If you don't know, I think Dungeons of Aether is like a 2D fighting game, but they released like
right.
a turn-based roguelite game that's like dice-based, and you can like combine dice in order to do it.
Oh, it's this one. It's this
Yeah,
one.
they're working with like a guy who made like a really interesting RPG turn-based thing with dices, and they're like, let's turn this into a full game in the
Yeah,
Riders
this
of
is
Aether
cool.
universe. I was like, oh, I really like this idea of like you roll a bunch of dices and then you have to like choose where the dices go. In this,
Yeah,
this is the
yeah.
original game. It was from like a game jam sort of thing, and it's actually getting turned into a full game with full art assets through Dungeons of Aether, and the art assets looks really cool. I really like the look of this, so I'm really glad this is actually getting turned into a full game. So I'll have to check out Dungeons of Aether when that comes out.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's really good.
in Landfall tradition, Landfall released a bunch of things on April Fool that were real things. They released totally accurate battle simulator out of not totally accurate battle simulator, totally accurate battleground simulator.
Yeah, yeah.
Totally accurate battlegrounds came out of early access into free to play. I've seen people playing it. It's really fun. I already own the game because they gave it away free a while ago.
Right, right. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'll say one thing that it's not a game or anything, but like it's like your April Fool's videos on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
The only person that I could see that put out a non April Fool's joke video on April Fool's was Minute Physics. I don't know if you know
Oh,
about
okay.
that YouTube
No.
channel.
No, I don't.
Okay, they just do like I don't know, like drawing like little sketches like to like explain
I
physics
mean,
things like in a couple of
we
minutes.
had Linus Sex Tips from this year.
Yes,
Wait,
which
which
everyone
one?
thought was real.
It is real.
It also isn't. It's not. He's not genuinely doing it.
No, he really has an account and he's posting.
Yes, he has an account, but he's not actually genuinely gonna keep doing it. Like,
But
people honestly thought he was.
he's posting just like behind the scene pictures and stuff, and like
It's gonna.
he no
I
he's,
find that it's gonna be closed for the end of the month.
he said on the WAN show he's in like the top 0.1% of creators
Yes,
on the platform sort of thing.
but he also said on that it's like if he's gonna put like upload exclusive stuff legitimately, it'll be on Flowplan, the thing
No.
they own.
But anyway, totally
So
anxious about something coming out fast. Rounds is another interesting game. It's basically stick fight the game, but it's a 1v1 instead of being 4v4. And basically, what happens is the thing that makes this really interesting. It's a 1v1 roguelike game, and you basically fight each other until you die, and the person that dies gets to upgrade their character. So every time it has like rubber banding basically. So every time you win, your
yeah.
opponent becomes stronger until it balances
Like,
out, and then you fight
yeah,
over
more fun.
you fight over like a series of rounds, and it's like I just think the idea is really interesting where you might actually want to lose in order to win.
Yeah, like, if you're better at like a certain power level than like a different. Yeah, it's like more meta tactical like in between the rounds, right?
I mean,
Yeah, that's really
it's
cool.
from like the Stick Fight the Game guys, and from playing Stick Fight the Game, that game is one of my favorite party games of all time. It's so much fun. So
Yeah,
seeing like a new concept on that same gameplay is really cool. So I'm interested to play out rounds when I pick that up on sale with a friend.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. That is the end of the podcast for this week. Let's end things out as always with a Petermology tweet.
Good old Peter.
Nintendo. It's also extra news. Nintendo shut down the Super Mario Maker bookmark website for the original Mario Maker, as they said.
It's dead.
But they said they were going to do this, and they've succeeded it with Mario Maker 2. So they've shut down the official bookmark website where people can put down their Super Mario Maker course code. So you can no longer upload courses in Super Mario Maker for the Wii U, and they've shut down the bookmark website. So there's that. Petermology tweet. So Petermology tweeted, "Dev tip: if making a series, reuse assets in the sequel to save on time and costs. If anyone online points it out, just say it's an Easter egg." I thought this one was fucking hilarious.
Brilliant.
That is so.
Peter.
He's done it again.
He's done it again. Dev tips.
Wait, this game's the same game again. That's a reference to the original game. 10 out of 10 IGN. He's done it again.
He's done it again. Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Peter Molydeux. We love to see you. Oh, okay.
April Fool's done.
And Inbetween podcast and everything in between podcast on YouTube, twitch.tv/Scorn if you want to watch live, and at Scorn2000 on Twitter if you want to follow me for some reason. That is the end of the podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.